Welcome back everyone to Partner Release. Today we're going to be, this is actually episode 6, and we're going to be focusing on the hips today. We had a shout out from our friends in New Zealand who have requested a video specifically on hip release. So we're going to get right into that for you today. So it's always nice with hip release to start in traction. Traction does a whole world of release for us. So we're gonna come into standing here. Always make sure that you have a good solid stance and you're not pulling with your arm muscle. It's just a lean of your natural weight. So your partner will feel this in the lower back, all through the pelvis, down the legs, from the hips. Then we're gonna widen the knees here, widen your arms, and just bring the hips to a nice little happy baby pose, if you will. Place your knees right at the gluteal fold. So top of thigh, bottom of the glutes. And you just walk your knees up the thighs, really getting deep into the hips. Focus on your breath. Make sure that your partner is breathing. Breathing, honey?
Stiff.
And then you simply walk down the mat. Notice my feet, I'm pressing into my toes so that I can maintain my balance. And then we'll slowly come up, release that with that traction. Now we'll just get into a deeper posture, going into like a Baddha Konasana. So this is supine Baddha Konasana. Stepping underneath the armpits, make sure your partner's arms are wide. You press down with flat feet and always checking in because this pose is a little bit more demanding. And then you see if you can start to walk the feet together. Once you're here, you squeeze the feet together, take a breath in, and you can ask them, are you able to go deeper?
Yep.
And then we just go down, and the body will retract back at you to let you know, like, no, not going any further. And you never want to push.
Oh, I really feel that in my back of my hamstrings and back of my thighs. Ooh.
Yeah, so that's a great move for the legs and for the hips. Straighten the legs after that and just sway your body side to side. And stepping out, always making sure that your area is clear where you're working, and we're going back into traction. This next move that we'll do is a forearm roll through the arch of the foot, pressing the hip down and towards the mat. So the one foot goes down. And remember to make sure that the body is dead weight. Never want your partner to hand you the limb. So keep your legs straight, and you slide your knee in behind their knee. You take your forearm, and as you roll the forearm across the arch of the foot, this helps press into the hips. So this is getting the back of the hip, and then releasing that leg. Always coming back to your traction, sort of like your little safe place in between sides. And again, you step in, the knees behind, and we're leaning and rolling. Forearm roll across the arch of the foot, pressing the hip down into the mat. Okay, so you can do that, 5 to 10 rolls. Shake out the legs, come back here, and sway the legs down. Okay, so we'll come into a nice deep release here. So taking the foot, bend the knee, place the foot in towards your inner hip, walk in, and then you're gonna take your left hand onto the thigh. So if you're on the left leg, you're gonna take your left hand underneath the hamstring and the right hand on top of the thigh above the knee. Never touch the knee. And you're gonna pull and squeeze the leg with your hands and shift forward. So pull and shift. You can do this you know, 5 to 10 rocks, just like that. Come out. Bend the knee into a seated tree or supine tree pose, so a lie down tree pose where the foot is in the inner thigh. Place your hand on the knee, above the knee, and then place your hand right on the hip. And I'm pulling the two limbs away from one another, so the hip and the leg. And this gets deep into the hips as well as the thighs. So in Thai massage, there's a lot of leg work. And release that. So once you've done that, you bend the knee, okay? And then you're gonna cross it over, okay? And then you're just going to lean your weight again above the knee and onto the hip. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling the thigh away from each other. So again, the stretch along the muscle, stretching the layers of fascia, which is the skin. And the skin is what is nervy and tender. It hugs around the muscle like a cobweb. From this position, you want to come in. I'm going to hold on to the ankle, hold on to the wrist, and take the heel of my foot right into the gluteus. Okay, and I'm going to pull the arms and legs towards me as I push the hips away. So you're getting some nice traction here. And if you feel comfortable to go further with this technique, I know it's a bit challenging. You take your other foot on the hamstring, so you do a hamstring press, alternate glute press. And you can see how this gets right into the front of the hip flexor. Hamstring, glute, as I'm pulling the arm and leg toward me. Hamstring, glute. Then you could put your foot right in the lower back, very gently on the side of the waistline, while your other foot's in the hamstring. And you just hold there, and then release. Bring the leg back up. Lean into it. Go around in a circle. This move is great for the hips. You can do double legs or one leg at a time. You want to bring the leg down. Take your hand and cross the foot so that the toes, so you're more pigeon toes, drawing in, and you're pulling down. Pull the heel and the top of the foot down, and then release. So you can hold that move for a good 10 seconds if you want to. And I'll just quickly show you on the other side so that we're even for our partner.
Thank you.
Yes, and then you have the full guidance of a hip release. So foot into the hip crease, okay? You're gonna take your hand on the bottom of the hamstring and the other hand goes on top, and you're squeezing the thigh and hamstring together as you create the technique to rock. So push, pull, push, pull. Again, 5 to 10 times, okay? Then you're gonna come in for the seated lie down tree pose. So the foot goes across the thigh, very passive aggressive. Hand goes above the knee, the other hand goes on the hip, and you're merging them away from each other. There we go. Another thing, when your partner is relaxed, when you're doing the massage, you're always, at one point, you're gonna hear the belly gurgle. It just always happens.
And if you crack something, crack it.
Yeah. Okay, then you're gonna come in here, cross over, take your foot on the other side, and never point your feet towards the person. It's rude. So take your hand, again, above the knee and the hip, and you pull the hip and knee away from each other. Again, you're gonna start to feel the nerves with the tight skin wrapped around the muscle. And then you're coming in. Right here, you can see it better from this side. So you hold the ankle, you hold the wrist, and you place your foot right in towards the gluteus. So I'm gonna switch my feet here. So right in towards the glute. As you pull gently the arm and the leg toward you, you're getting the whole hip flexor. So the hip flexor goes right from the upper thigh crease all the way up through your abdomen. Okay, so it's a big, big area. When we think of hips, don't just think about the hips. It goes right up through the abdomen. Then you take your other foot you paddle hamstring, glute, hamstring, glute. Okay, as many times as you and your partner talk about.
More.
More. More.
Please, please. Oh, yeah.
And then you take your foot into the hamstring and the arch of the foot right into the side of the back waist. So you're never touching the spine. And you pull away and push. You can hold or you can paddle if the technique is there for you. Then release, bend the knee. Okay. You wanna rotate. Again, you can do this with double legs or single legs, and this is great. Usually when you're doing treatments, techniques, you're gonna hear different sounds of the body. So hopefully this is helpful for you.
Ooh, you hear that?
Ooh, I hear that. Then you wanna take the foot back. Okay, you're gonna pigeon the toes inward towards the center line, cuff the heel and the top of the foot gently, and pull down. Okay, and we'll just give it a little shake, give a little traction on the knees, so you don't always have to stand up to do the traction. And we'll do one more little release. Sometimes you can do this move at the beginning or you can do it at the end. So I'm choosing to do it at the end today. All you do is you walk your hands along the muscle line of the calf, skip the knees, take your hand, you walk the quadricep, you fold the muscle in and on top. So you scoop the muscle, press, scoop the muscle, press. And you walk up the thighs to do this action. Okay, once you get to the top of the thighs, just below the hip bones, you place the palm of the hands face out, so you get the heel of your hand right into the groin area, so hips, top of thigh, right in the center. And you press down and you pull up into like a down dog. So it's just your body weight there, and you release, you hold this for a good count of 10. Okay, once you're at the 10-second mark, the 10 breaths, you slowly release the weight, and what happens is your partner's gonna get like this rejuvenating surge of blood going down the legs. Pretty great. So from that, you wrap your partner up, bring the hands in, palms face up, bring your hand in, there you go, palm face up. That is a partner release for hips. Tell your partner thank you.
Thank you.
And I hope you enjoy it. Comment, share, and like below, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and let us know what you think of that. Have a great day.